Dakyapi, Chante Washte na Pechuzapie. My relatives, I greet all of you with a good heart and handshake on this beautiful day. My name is Crystal Owen, and I am your host of the planning show, the Sisseton Oyate planning show that airs live every Wednesday from 1 to 2 p.m. And every week we have a special guest on our show. And this week we have Mr. Dennis Jensen on the show. And he's from the transportation Sisseton Sioux Tribes Transportation in located Agency Village, Sisseton area. And Dennis is the coordinator of the transportation, tribal transportation. So we're going to talk a little bit about, he's going to give us all the lowdown, all the good information. You can call in your questions to 698 3780 605 698 3780. You can call in your question, or you can go live on Facebook to KXSW site on Facebook, and then you can post a question there. But if you have any questions for Dennis on the transportation, we're going to have a little discussion and talk about the transportation issues in here in our community. So I want to welcome you, Mr. Dennis, to the show. Thank you for coming in, and thank you for being here for the Oyate.
Thank you for the invite. Thank you for having me.
So we'll get started, Dennis, on maybe you could tell us about a little bit about the history of transportation.
Actually, I've been working with community transit just for 2 years now, and looking through some of the older documentation, this idea started back in 2015. Bruce Renville and at the time Carol Sire was the director of community transit. And they were the two originators, you might say, of the idea of providing transportation. So it has been in the works for a long time as far as starting this partnership with community transit and Sisseton Sioux Tribe Community Transit. And it is a separate entity, but it is managed by community transit. SWST Community Transit is under the umbrella of community transit. So what we do is provide the garaging of the buses. We have 2 shuttle buses. We provide the maintenance. We hire the drivers and provide the training and make sure that licensing is in order and the other safety measures. But like I said, it started in 2015, and the grant program, the planning that went into it, has been in the process for 3 years. And in order to purchase a bus, it takes a substantial length of time to do that once it's ordered, almost a year actually.
Why is that?
You know
Why
what?
does it take so long?
They're special order. These buses are special order, and they're not sitting on a lot. So when you order a bus, it goes right to the factory.
Wow.
And these are Ford Transits. They're state of the art. They're little 6-cylinder engines that get very good fuel mileage and have plenty of power. But it does take almost a year to get a bus. And so we do have 2 of them that are running. And those of you that have been riding on the bus know that Maynard Boudreau is our morning shift driver, and does an excellent job, has an excellent rapport with our riders. And then Dennis Keeble does the afternoon shift. And so the bus service will run from 6:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m.
So we have 2 tribal members who are drivers. What are some of the issues in rural transportation? Like, what are the biggest issues that you see?
Well, the need for transportation, being we are such a rural area that you can't hardly walk to your necessities of life, your health care, your shopping, banking, that type of thing. And And dependable transportation is another issue. A lot of people can't afford new vehicles, so older vehicles tend to break down. Sometimes the cost of fuel plays a factor in it. When we saw a spike in fuel costs, we saw ridership go up. So all of those types of things do play a role in challenges of transportation. We recently started a Facebook page. If I can
yeah.
continue on with that.
Yes.
It's SWST Community Transit, or ComTran is the abbreviation for it. Brought my own little prop along.
Yay.
Let's get that up there where you can see
He's
it.
ready.
All right.
Good job.
And it has really taken off. It's been great to see the likes and the shares. Today over noon I had a little time to take a look at it. I had 51 new friend requests. Thank you very much for that. That was pretty exciting to see. And shortly after the Facebook page got up and running, you had made a comment on your page, and I shared that. And that's the wonderful thing about this social media. What routes or areas do you think the SWO transportation buses should go? And it fits hand in glove that this is the next phase of our transportation program. Initially we started in May, and we've provided in May over 250 rides to and from basically Sisseton to Agency Village. And ridership went up significantly in June. It was well over 300 in June. And the Facebook page question is where would you like to see the ridership go? And if I could quote some of the people, Vivian Gill wrote in, local Triangle. Janelle Cook wrote in, all 7 districts to and from. Verna Francisco wrote in, numerous, very good points. Jeremiah Gray, all over. Mary Jo Keeble wrote in and said Beaver Flats. Josh Flute wrote in, all 7 districts to Dakota Crossing. Elias Mendoza, she wanted to go to Phoenix and back. That was a good one. Okay, I'm sorry. Elizabeth Goodsell wrote in, Red Iron Housing Area. Jeremiah Gray wrote in, and to all elderly housing. And Hildy Renville wrote in, all the districts. And that really hits the nail on the head, because that is the next plan. We wanted to develop our shuttle back and forth, and the next phase of this project is to get out to all 7 districts. What we want to do is assess the need. We can't beat all 7 districts every day, and so what we want to do when we're setting up this new schedule is to determine what is the best day of the week for enemy swim housing, for instance. What is the best day of the week to get out to the Veblen district, Big Coulee, Lake Traverse, Veblen. And we do meet every month with the planning office, meeting with Cliff Eberhardt, who's been wonderful in helping get this off the ground. Vivi Teddy-Scan, who's been wonderful on getting this off the ground. You, Crystal, with the publicity and stuff. And so what we want to hear back, and whether it's the Facebook page or the call-in phone numbers or whatever, please communicate to us what your needs are and what would be the best day of the week for you to come in. Right now the scheduling is Monday through Friday. We go 6:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. So we can't offer the service on weekends, but the Monday through Friday, we really do want to hear back from representatives from the districts and residents on exactly what are your needs and what would be the best day of the week for our shuttle to get to you.
So that's a lot of information right there. And thank you for that. And you know, since this shuttle came out, the transportation, Do you believe that it's made a difference in our community? Have you seen any changes, heard any comments from the riders?
Yeah, we've had some comments, and we welcome all the comments. Some positive, and some that have created some challenges. The bad news first is that we do charge a fee. In today's world, the grant programs that are out there do require matching funds. So one of the criticisms have been is that, well, why do you charge for the ride? And it is a minimal fee, but we do have to generate some matching revenue for the grant program. That's pretty much the only criticism that I've heard at this point. There's been some good positive comments that have come back, way more than the critical. The positive comments is that they just love the drivers, which is helpful. They love the service that's available. They have commented that the scheduling is such that they can depend on the shuttles, the posted times that our drivers will be there. So the positives have far outweighed any of the negative comments.
So those, it isn't, I've heard that too, people had complaints about why isn't it free? Mm-hmm. But you're right, there's so many, you have to pay insurance, you have to pay your drivers, there's so many costs associated with the transportation. And I know that, although we would love to have it to be free, we have to have, like you said, the minimal charge for it. Mm-hmm. It's only, it's the only way to make it work, to be self-sufficient. Mm-hmm. And what are the fees? I don't think they're really that outrageous, are they?
No, I don't think so, Crystal. What I have here is something that maybe you can post are the bus fares to and from Agency Village in Sisseton. It's $3 for a one-way trip, and it's $5 for a round trip. And that allows you more than one stop too.
And you do have coins. Can we see your little chips?
Sure. We do have tokens available for sale. Family members or agency clubs, different organizations have purchased these. The blue ones are $3. The black ones are $5. And as a gift to you, you can have these. They have the triangle on one side with the districts, and the CT for community transit.
Good.
Yeah.
And I think what we'll do for those of you who are tuned in or listening, if you would like to call in, we'll give these 2 chips away. If you're listening out there and you would like one of these chips, we'll go ahead and give those away as a gift today. So a $3 chip and a $5 chip.
Oh,
it's good for the $5 one round trip, and then the blue is good for a one-way ride. So this is really exciting about when we're talking about going to the districts. Have you ever been to our 7 districts?
I have driven through there.
Okay.
I haven't been at the district centers, but I'm anxious to meet all the representatives, and I think I've got an accurate list here.
Yeah,
Big Cooley is Alva Quinn Sr., Buffalo Lake, Arnold White, Enemy Swim, Lois Owens, Lake Traverse, Francis Crawford, Veblen, Winfield Rondell, Long Hollow, Justin Chonku, Old Agency, Milton, Nippy, Owen. And if you're out there watching or listening, be sure and contact SWST Comtran and tell us the needs. Tell us what you think as you represent your district and your constituents. Tell us what you feel your needs are. And there again, we're anxious to hear back.
Yeah, and I think we're in the planning stages. We are going to visit hopefully each and every one of the districts, but I think beginning probably yet today is Tuesday. We're hoping that by maybe by the end of this week yet, we can get up to enemy swim. And what we'll do is we'll set up up there at probably the district center, and let everybody know, and then you can come in and share your ideas with us. So we're depending on word of mouth a lot to get this out there. And you have Facebook that you can put your comments on. You can private message, or you can just post it right there to SWST ComTran. And then you can private message them, or you can, whatever your concerns are. Perhaps you have medical appointment, or I don't know. Can somebody call in, like, if they have, maybe they have a doctor's appointment? Do you go to Watertown at all, or make those types of appointments?
We do. The Community Transit, our parent association, does provide rides to Fargo, Watertown, Sioux Falls. We transport to Aberdeen, and that phone number is 698-7511. They do travel out of the area, and they have smaller minivans, and very, very accommodating. So particularly medical appointments, we have done many, many transports over the years to Sioux Falls and Fargo, and Aberdeen, Watertown as well. So yeah, be sure and call 698-7511 for that. The other local transportation you can call our bus direct with the SWST Community Transit, and that number is 605-419-2551. And you'll be able to talk to Maynard direct, or if Dennis is on duty. So they can deviate a little bit from their regular schedule. So if somebody needs to get someplace in a hurry, they can usually accommodate that later in the day. We do have the scheduled stops starting at 6:30 a.m. and by about 2:30, 3 o'clock, they've covered those shifts well. And then after that, we've left some open time to get people around to wherever they need to go.
Maybe you can share that with our listeners.
Sure. That's a schedule of our stops, and I will share that with the folks here today, and I suppose they'll put that up on the screen as well. There again, that bus number direct, 605-419-2551. It's a cellular phone, and we tried very, very hard to get a local number, a 268 number, or a 698 or 742, but they said it's not available. So I think as more of those numbers get used up, it will be a local call. So unfortunately, that was not available at the time.
So every morning, now you go, you stop, your first stop in the morning is Community Transit Barn. You leave there 6:30.
6:30. There are some folks over by St. Catherine's Church that need to get to work in the morning, so that's a stop that we'll pick up and take them out to Dakota Crossing, and we'll be there right before 7 o'clock before the shift starts. After that, they'll come out here to Old Agency and make a pass through. They'll be stopping at the nutrition site, the SWO administration building. Stops is at the House of Hope and the Agency C-Store. And then back to town, and then the high-rise apartment buildings are on the schedule. Back out to Dakota Crossing. Teals Market is on the schedule for a 9:20 a.m. stop, and then back out to Old Agency for a second time. The elderly apartment buildings that are located just across from the C-Store and across from the college are on the route list. So in the morning at 9:20 and 9:35, there's stops that will be occurring there. Oh, pardon me, I've got that wrong. 9:35 and 9:40, and then back over to the House of Hope at 9:45, and then at the food pantry at 10 a.m. on the third run at 10:30 a.m. They're back at the Sisseton high-rise apartment building, and then out at the housing authority north of town, we have individuals that ride in the Buddy LaBelle apartments, the blue housing apartments. There's a 10:40 a.m. stop there. Back to Teal's Market at 11 a.m. and then back out here at Old Agency at 11:15. The nutrition site is a scheduled stop, and back through the administrative building in the morning, and then back to the the elderly apartment buildings. So as you can see, the morning is pretty busy. They come back and forth numerous times, and then as the second shift begins, there's another stop at the high-rise apartment building shortly after noon, back out to Dakota Crossing at 1 o'clock, Teal's Market shortly after 1 o'clock, and then back out here to Old Agency. The nutrition site, elderly apartments, and so it's a circuit that is very, very accommodating. If you want to go in the forenoon, there's rides available. If you want to go in the afternoon, there's rides available as well.
What if I'm walking on a road and I've got a chip in my pocket, or would I be able to, like, if I see you guys going by, would I be able to wave you down? Would you kind of stop on the side of the road and pick me up?
We sure will. We sure will.
Well, that's
and it's funny you should mention that, because last week I'm one of the drivers too on occasion, and I did have a party that wanted to go to Enemy Swim. And I said yes, there would be a charge for that.
Not a party, a person.
Oh, a party, a couple. Might have been a party once they got there. And I took him to the Enemy Swim housing, and on the way back there was a gentleman walking along the highways. So
wow.
he did get a free ride back to Sisseton. So that was
nice.
Yeah. That ended up working out well. And so we have experimented with some other types of transportation, but the thing is if we can get a few numbers, it reduces the cost. We have taken an individual to work at Dakota Magic, and if we could have a few more riders, it reduces the cost. So we've taken her to work. Like I said, the Enemy Swim housing, we've done that. Elderly Day in June, we made an exception, and we took some passengers. We picked a few up in Peaver, here at Agency Village, and transported them to Dakota Magic for Elderly Day, and that was successful too. During the powwow, the buses were available Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and after talking with our driver, Dennis Keeble, he said it seemed to get busier towards the end of the powwow. And I think that's a good testament on the word-of-mouth advertising that went around during that time. So that's something that's really important, is that when we do decide what day, which district we're going to and what time, is that we get the word out. And the listeners and the people that are watching can sure help with word of mouth, with getting that word out. It's just very, very helpful.
Now, is it a different price? So if I wanted to ride up to Enemy Swim, I would probably pay more than $5.
That charge was $25 to get those two people up there. So there again, a $25 ride might sound expensive, but being there were two of them, it was $12.50.
Yeah.
And if we had, 3 or 4, it just reduces the cost. So,
yeah.
And the ride up to Dakota Magic was $20, and if we would have had 4 people, that would only be $5 each. So in that case, it would work out much better. Yeah.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that it's working out, and I'm so happy that for the flexibility of it. And remember, we have to remember that it's a new service, and we're just still trying to get the footing on what the people's needs are.
Exactly.
Because we do want to increase that ridership. We want our buses to be full all the time. Right?
We were very pleased with our ridership. Like I said, our very first month starting was in May, and that was 255 rides. And then June, our second month, we were up to 330 rides.
Wow.
So it is taken off. It's really amazing, I think, that, and we have to credit our drivers too, Maynard and Dennis, as well as some of the other substitute drivers. I don't want to leave them out, but Trevor Pratt is another driver that we have, does a real good job. Dell Williams drives for us, Billy Joe Owen, and I drive as well. We're going to be losing a couple of those drivers because Dell drives bus for TZ, and when school starts, we'll be losing him. But and Billy Joe works for the Sisseton public school system, and we'll be losing her when that starts up again. But
so what's the process? If there's a job opening, do they apply? Is there a process?
There is, yep. It's an application process, and that is available at our main office in Sisseton, 811 4th Avenue East, just a block west of the Catholic Church, St. Peter's Church. Stop in the office and pick up an application. Complete the application, turn it back in, and we'll see where it goes from there.
So how long have you worked with community transportation, did you say?
Well, I've been with them 2 years.
2 years.
Yep. Beginning of my second year, I was introduced to the Sisseton-Wahpeton Sioux Tribe Community Transit Program. So I got in on the ground floor and have really enjoyed it. It's been wonderful. There again, Clef and Vivi over in the planning office have been so good. We meet monthly. Leanne Tallbear has provided a lot of good input and comments on things that are going right and things that can be improved. And that's why I wanted to continue on and to watch this expansion into the 7 districts and to get this program to grow even further with ridership. And like I said, things always change, so I expect demand to keep going up, and it's exciting times for this transportation program.
Exciting times is right. You know, when I think back, for the tribe, this is a really good opportunity. You know, I'm so happy that we have the community transit was available to assist, you know, and co-partner. Because I believe that having that co-partnership is really important, you know, to the development and to the health of our communities, that we two organizations can work together to provide this great service. So I want to thank you for that, for being there to assist and to help and to kind of, you know, help us guide, because we don't want to reinvent the wheel. This is already out there, it's already done. And for, you know, the tribe had the opportunity for the grant funding to get 2 buses. And, you know, the community transit in Sisseton already had everything up and running, so why not partnership? You know, we share the same community, and so I think that's important, that, you know, that partnership is I think it's a good positive thing. I think so. I
think so too. Each party has their strong points, and we're able to pull together in the same direction, and it's just been wonderful. We use as much tribal members and tribal facilities as possible. We use tribal members as drivers when it comes to vehicle maintenance. All of our oil changes are done out at the connection, tire and oil. And I have to put in a plug-in for those gentlemen out there too, because they are wonderful. A lot of times you can call the same day and they can get you in that afternoon.
Yeah.
And that's one thing when you're running a schedule like this. We don't have a lot of spare time. We have places to go and people to pick up, but the cooperation and the working together has just been phenomenal with this program.
And I think we need more of that in our community, you know, agency and Sisseton. I think we need a lot more of that community of working together and just creating some good, healthy programs, you know, that will benefit everyone.
Exactly.
So
I agree.
What kind of, have you heard any kind of funny stories, or which like your funniest experience? Anything?
Well, I came early because you told me there was a makeup room over here, and I was looking forward to getting powdered.
Tom?
But no, I don't know. The people that you meet, and I see that Tom has put some pictures of our buses on screen, and it's just, to me, it's just very heartwarming to be able to provide transportation for somebody that might have a little bit of a disability. Yeah. And there are the wheelchair lifts in these vans. So if you have a wheelchair, or you use a walker or a cane, or if you feel that you can't make that higher step, which some elderly people have, you can just walk onto that lift and hang onto those handles and take that ride up and walk on. And the funniest story is that this morning when I had checked on bringing a bus out, just in case we were going to have a little show and tell, I noticed the principal bus that usually goes out was gone. And I said, is the other bus available? I'd like to take it to this program today, just in case we do a little show and tell. And they said, well, we're having trouble with the lift, so we're calling a service company and making an appointment. I said, why don't I go take a look at it and see? And so our backup bus was out, and I checked the lift out, and it was binding a little bit. It wouldn't unfold like it's supposed to. Well, come to find out, the passenger seat was back too far. Oh. So it was catching on that.
So it wasn't anything major.
So it was an easy fix. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Nothing major.
Yeah. That's always good when that happens. So
yeah.
We're going to take a little break right now. We do have a video that we'd like to show. We have a video about the community transit in one of our adventures with that. So we're going to be right back, and we'll show you that video. Good morning. This is Crystal Owen, and we are here, Tom Wilson and I, along with Kathy Holman. Kathy, you want to come over? So Kathy is the, well, let her introduce herself, but this morning Tom and I are getting ready. We're going to go on the first run, this very historic event for the tribe today, because the tribe has purchased 2 of these community transit buses through a federal grant that we received, and we're going to go on the run today and just kind of give you a little idea about what's going on. But I want to introduce you to Kathy Holman, and she's going to tell us a little bit about the project and how it got started.
As Crystal said, I'm Kathy. A grant was written back probably about 3 years ago and awarded to the tribe $300,000. The tribe had to match 10% of that, so there's $330,000 that will be used to start public transit for the tribe. I'm the executive director of community transit, and the tribe contracted with us because we were already in the area. Our goal is to provide shuttle service to and from Old Agency Village to get people into town to jobs, as well as people out to Old Agency for jobs. Also college students, for whatever purpose you need to use the transit for.
That's pretty exciting. And you know what? That's the first thing my mom said this morning when I told her what was going on. She said, now nobody has an excuse not to get to work somewhere. So this is really pretty exciting. And I'm glad that I want to thank you for partnering up with the tribe, because I think it's good. We have to work together. Tom, did you have something? The cost.
I'm going to grab a poster quick.
Okay. The cost for, she's going to give us some information on the cost to ride the transit, what it costs. Because it's not, of course it's not free. All public transportation does have a cost. So we have...
It's a $5 round trip. $5 round trip from Sisseton out to Old Agency and back, and vice versa. And then if they want a one-way stop, is $3 if you don't need a ride back and forth. I mean, if you just need to come to town. And then the monies that are collected for the fares are going to offset the expenses every month for the monthly expenses, such as driver wages, fuel, maintenance, and any costs incurred by the vehicle. So that will help defray some of the costs to the tribe. And then I also was going to mention that in the planning office, Vivi will be writing, once this gets up and going and it's successful, operating grant will be written. Hopefully they're successful so that it can continue on, because obviously $330,000 isn't going to go on forever. So every year an operating grant will be written to continue the service.
What about passes? Would there be like passes where you can buy a...
Yes, we will have bus tickets available for purchase. Also, for some of the folks that are living on fixed incomes, there are going to be some places that are going to be sponsoring rides and giving out tickets as well. So.
And where would they purchase these?
The tickets can be purchased through community transit, as well as we will have them on the bus too, that they can purchase them from the driver.
Tell us about the stop.
Okay, let me get my sheet. Sorry.
Okay, it's a good day for the Sisseton-Wahpeton Sioux Tribe, for that the community transit is starting now today.
So that was our community transit video. That was the very first ride, and I remember that day so well. Tom and I went out, we decided to go out there at 6:30 in the morning to meet the bus at Dakota Crossing, and to get on and to ride and just take record the whole historic moment. So the driver, what was her name again?
That was Kathy Pullman.
Kathy.
Yep.
Kathy was in the store. She got out. She had the bus parked outside. She went in the store, and she said she was so excited because it was the first day, the first run, and she was telling the people at the counter who were working. She's like, "Come out and see your bus. Come out and see your bus." And she was excited. So when she came out, and Tom and I were standing there, Tom had all his equipment set up to do the interview and speak with Kathy about everything. She was really surprised that we were there, and I'm so glad that we were able to capture that moment, and because it really is, it's a historic moment, and for some people might not think it's so big, but really it is when if you don't have a vehicle and you need to get from point A to point B. Or maybe you just don't drive. I mean, like my mother's 92 years old. She never drove. Maybe once, maybe when she was younger days, she might have drove maybe once or twice. but never got into the habit of ever driving, never had a driver's license. So community transit is good, you know, to help people who choose not to drive even, or who maybe because of disability they can't drive, whatever the reason, or maybe they just don't like to drive. I'm thinking about in a winter when it's cold, you know, I might get some tokens and then just get a ride. You know, I live right there by IHS housing. Just imagine it's going to be warmed up. You know, you just hop in, everything is warm. You don't have to worry about icy roads or, you know, things like that. That can bring sometimes anxiety in the winter. So a lot of things to think about, you know. Even if you do have a car, maybe you want to just leave the driving to community transit.
Good suggestion.
Yeah,
Good
that'd
suggestion.
be so nice. So a lot of things to think about in community transit, and I'm glad Dennis is here today with us to share some of what's been going on and what's happening, and just to hear from you, the listener, about what you think about community transit, and know that we are going to be in some of the districts. We are going to be getting your input, because your input is very valuable to us, and we need to know what routes do you think community transit should take. Sisseton, Moncton, Sioux Tribe Community Transit. What route should we make available so that we can get the riders out there?
Mm-hmm.
So what else, Dennis?
Well, when we were off air there for a minute, you had mentioned that the next Elderly Day is not too far away, a month away. September 4th will be Elderly Day at the Magic. And so make your plans to call into the transit bus, and you know, by then we should have it pretty well figured out which districts we can get to and which time of the day. There again, our regular drivers are very, very accommodating. I assume that this next Elderly Day will be similar to the last transportation that we provided. The one comment that I did get back is that some of the riders would like to come back a little bit earlier. I think our ride came back about 6 p.m., but some of the riders would like to come back a little bit earlier in the day, so we certainly want to accommodate those wishes too. So we will have both buses available that day, September 4th. So be sure and call in and get your reservation made for a pickup.
That'd be good. We certainly need that service in our community. So again, the number to call for the bus direct is, you got your little prompt. I like it that Dennis made his own prompts. There you go. He's so prepared. And I guess that comes with organizing. Can you imagine the work it does take to organize a schedule even? And to try to do it in a good way where you know that everyone, we know that we can't please, of course we can't please everyone, but you know, we try to, the schedules are made so that you can accommodate as many people as possible. So I think that's important too. It's so good that we're taking all of that into consideration. You know, some people might want, you know, maybe they feel left out, but I think we're so open, community transit, Sioux Tribe, and Sisseton Community Transit, as a working together. I think it's so good that everything is open to negotiation. The rides, the schedules, the questions, whatever questions that you might have.
When I was in business too, it was really difficult to assess what is the best media for advertising, what is the best way to get your word out and the most effective. And I used all types of things. I used print and I used radio. I used pens with my logo and things on them. But you know, the old word of mouth is really the best advertising. So I guess we're depending on the viewers to pass the word to your friends and relatives that this service is available. And the Facebook page is available. Crystal has tons of friends and contacts on her Facebook page as well. Be sure and send us a friend request. I looked at noon today, and I had 51 new friend requests, which really surprised me that the word was spreading that fast. So, full-time employee, but I will be monitoring the Facebook page and responding to the comments that come in. So, please keep using that. I appreciate it very much.
We should go check on that. Maybe there's some.
Maybe
there's something new on SWST
Comtran.
SWST Comtran. And we'll see if there's anything new. I like that you have a picture of the bus on there. And again, what routes? Oh, we do have a new. That was 1 hour. Did you see that one?
Not up to Buffalo Lake. Town and Tribe, grocery store, IHS, anything in town or out to the tribe. Thank you, Sheila, for writing in those comments. Crystal, call Community Transit, run it for the tribe. Granddaughter, a ride to TZ and back. Well, thank you, Sheila, for using the service.
Yeah.
And appreciate your comments.
Yeah, and so that's what it's there for. All of these chips. If you go to, you want to hold that up?
Sure.
If you go to Community Transit, SWST Community Transit, Community Tran, you can post a comment. The first 2 people that post a comment on their page, we'll give these away for free. One is for $3 and one is for $5. So, and if you haven't taken a ride on Community Transit, I would challenge you just to do it, just for the fun of it, because it is kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the time Tom and I rode, we got to visit. You know, you don't have to really worry about the drive. You just sit back and enjoy the ride. You get to visit. Another time I rode was, we came into town to pick up some of our guests from here who flew in to the airport. And so the pier officials, they have, their transportation is plane. So the officials, they were going by the plane transportation. So Maynard and I went in and picked them up. So there's our buses on the screen, if you can see those.
Facebook page.
On the Facebook page. Oh, there. That's our Facebook page. Okay.
Beautiful.
SWST Comtran Facebook page is right there. So if you go there, and if you're listening, you go to that SWST Comtran on Facebook and post a comment, any kind of comment, and you first 2 comments will get these free tokens for a free ride. Now, where do they go, Dennis, if they want to buy these tokens?
We have them available at the office, and there again, that's 811 4th Avenue East, just west of St. Peter's Catholic Church. One of the comments was very constructive on the Facebook page, is that our drivers should carry a supply of those and be able to sell those tokens right on the bus. So we're going to take that under advisement and have those available as well. But yeah, the tokens are available at the office, or we'll soon have them available on the bus as well.
I like that it has the triangle on the token, and it has the arrows.
The CT.
Right.
Yeah,
is that what that is?
That's CT
logo.
Community Transit, and the triangle.
Yeah.
It's a good partnership.
And it was exciting. One thing I liked about the bus is on the bus it says public transportation for everyone. anyone and everyone. So I like, that was the first thing that caught my eye, and I like that. Because it is for everyone. Even though it says SWST, that doesn't, you know, that anybody could ride that.
Exactly.
Anybody is welcome, and
Exactly.
that's the beauty of this whole, the whole program, is that community, community involvement, community sharing, and just helping each other out is good.
Our other bus that runs exclusively in town, the community transit bus, is very busy. Carla Pistorius is our primary driver of that bus, and that gets very busy with elderly residents from Tekakwitha Living Center. We'll go to dialysis treatments Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. She has some regular stops there. Wednesday is senior discount day at Teal's Market, and I should mention that the inner city rides, the Teal's Market will pay for that ride. So whether you ride the tribal transit bus or the other community transit bus, that one is a free ride, and Dakota Crossing has agreed to provide $3 towards the cost of a ride too. So there's no reason that people can't get out and either for medical treatments or grocery shopping, or on occasions we've even provided some recreational type rides. There's nursing homes that just like to have a little bit of an outing, so we'll transport a few residents just to go out and see the countryside.
Oh, that's so nice.
And back, yeah.
I like that.
So the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, the possibilities are endless. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great service.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so personable, because it is. It's you know, it's from door-to-door service practically. That's what Kathy told me in the beginning. She's like, we're door-to-door service. We care about our customers.
They have come into some pretty unique situations that if somebody is not responding to an appointment or something, our drivers will follow up and find out, is there something wrong that isn't quite right. So
well, that's pretty
they're
good.
very, very caring drivers.
Yeah, that's really good. I like that, you know, just being caring and so human. We're all human beings. We all like that.
That's that small town element.
Yeah, that small town. There you go. Small town element.
Yeah.
And that's what community transit is all about.
They are a very caring organization, so it follows through with our drivers and our passengers. A lot of the drivers become so attached to the riders, the regular riders, and get to know their habits and their family members, and they have good listening ears, and they really put their heart and soul into their job, and that's very much appreciated.
That is good. So I want to thank you, Dennis, for got about 5 minutes to close out our discussion today. So I want to thank you for coming out here today to share with our viewers about community transit and the Facebook page, SWST ComTran. I want to try to hold one up, see how it looks. And look at, he brought his own props. That is so cool.
That's the bus fares.
He knows.
That's our Facebook page.
Facebook page. So go to the Facebook page and friend. I guess you don't friend, you just like, right? You just like your page.
Like the page.
Yeah.
Share the page.
Share the page.
That has been helpful too.
Yeah.
And we've had a lot of shares on there, a lot of friend requests, and wonderful way to provide your comments to us.
Yeah. And that's the number one thing. Community Transit does want to hear your comments. They do want to know what you think, how you feel about the services that are provided, and what other services can they provide. as far as a lot of people from the tribal community are wanting transportation to each of the districts. So they're working on that, along with Vivian from the planning department and Cliff from transportation at the tribe. So it's the discussion is already happening. It's just a matter of determining when and where. So stay tuned for that conversation. Watch probably in a showtime, right? We advertise in the tribal newspaper and also on a Facebook page. But for those of you who do not, some people don't have Facebook. They don't utilize the social media. So word of mouth is very important too. So if you know something, you find it, find out, or you see it, then, go ahead and share that with others, just so everybody knows. We don't want anybody to say, oh, I don't know, I didn't know about that. We want everyone to know about it. And, it's going to be Dennis's job and all of my job, Tom's job, everybody. That's what we're here for. On the radio and on Channel 390 on VentureCom, we are here to get that word out to you so that you will know. That's our goal and our mission for Sisseton Sioux Tribe Community Transit. So again, I want to thank you for joining us today, and Tom, thank you for having us. And this is the planning show, and the planning show airs every Wednesday from 1 to 2 p.m. Here we're located in the back of the auditorium of the Sisseton College. And if you would like to be a guest, we invite you to come on the show and be a guest. Tell your story if you have something positive. If you have some information about the program that you work for, we welcome you to come in and share that with the viewers. So, again, thank you, and thank you, Mr. Jensen.
Thank you very much.